have a lot of questions today.
I love it. Okay. You're on what day on the very low cal?
9 today.
9 days on HCG or 9 on the very low cal?
9 on the
very
injection.
low.
No.
So
This
you're...
is 9, wait. Yeah. No, it'd be 9 days just on very low cal.
Okay.
Yep.
Have you weighed yourself at all?
No.
Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
No.
Good for you. Have you cheated at all?
Nope.
Today's the 24th? Is that right?
Yep.
Day 9. Wonderful. How's your hunger? Do you mind if I look at your book?
Yeah. It's fine.
It's totally manageable. Isn't that amazing?
I just don't have problems on this. I don't have problems on that. I just don't,
You feel good? Temperature's good? Are you sleeping great?
I always sleep great.
Do you feel a little cold?
Mm-mm, not yet.
Okay.
I did the first time I did it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. This is why this is why I don't understand, like, when I'm on the shots, I feel so much better than when I'm off the shots. Because my eating pattern's the same.
Whether you're on or off. That might be the problem. You don't have the bridge.
Maybe I don't eat enough when I'm not on it.
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
Because everything you've done so far is biased and it's got all sorts of stuff tainting it. So we're starting over. Because that's obvious. If you're eating exactly the same now as you do off protocol and we add HCG, you're starving over here.
So why am I not hungry then?
Well, I don't even trust your opinion on your assessment yet. I will when this is over.
Okay.
So, and it's not to say that you're lying.
No.
It's a matter of we need to get acquainted with hunger with the intention of it. And then let's go back in and see if it's adjusting. So let's get the practice on the very low calorie protocol. And then once you're done with this round, we're going to go into the next phase and we're going to see if you can continue to work with it. Once you have that done, you'll probably find that you're ignoring symptoms of hunger. And it may not have come in a sense of hunger, but it may have come in a headache, shakiness, where it comes a different route. It's not the same as, oh my God, I'm going to eat my arm off.
Right.
Make sense? In general, you only had 1 day here. Oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Energy's good. How's your sex drive? The same?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is never high.
Which is never
very high.
Yeah. Have you had any headaches outside of the first couple days?
Nope.
This is so normal. You're eating a lot of cabbage. Have you tried mixing your vegetables yet?
Mm-mm.
You scared to do that?
I just love cabbage. And lettuce is...
We want to make sure you vary the vegetables. Why would I say that?
Because your body develops tolerances to it, or immunity to vegetables, right? Allergies to it?
Kind of. The main reason is nutritional variance.
Okay.
You
Cauliflower.
Yes, you need to mix it up. Add some chard.
Okay.
That's a superfood. Okay. So on this protocol, that type of superfood is going to provide you a lot of nutritional value.
Okay.
Okay. The spinach is good too. But yeah, once I see someone eating the same exact thing over and over again, you're doomed to have less wiggle room when this is over.
Okay.
You do need to vary your foods up, not only for palate, but just enjoyment and, again, nutritional deficiencies. Right now, you could say that this isn't a chronic nutritional issue because it is so short-term. It's more of an acute problem.
Yeah.
But when you have the same exact thing every single day in an acute setting, you're still causing problems. Does that make sense? Okay. So in this acute situation, vary it up as much as you can for that reason. Okay. So it doesn't make it even worse. Absolutely.
I just stick I'm in chicken and fish now. But
totally mix it up. I want you to start exploring flavors. I want you to make this taste even better than what you've experienced. You need to vary from the apple. You need to go get an orange. Okay. You may not need the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't like oranges, but...
how about grapefruit strawberries?
Yeah.
Good.
Strawberries. Okay.
But yeah, do you like shrimp?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like lobster?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like halibut?
Mm-hmm.
Tilapia?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of all those options?
Mm-hmm.
Make this fun and explore. I'm telling you what you would tell someone else.
Mm-hmm.
If you were looking at someone else's, you go, this is not very, you need to vary this up. It looks like it's controlled, like too controlled. I want you to kind of loosen that up a little bit.
It's more just, food's not a big deal for me. It never is. You know, like even when I'm not on this, it's like I don't eat just to...
Then I want you to vary it. If it's not a big deal, that shouldn't be a big deal to vary this.
Yeah,
Okay.
You're right.
Any questions, concerns?
I just have a lot of questions about leptin.
Okay.
Like I need another. I've watched your videos like 3 times, but I'm confused on the leptin thing.
What's confusing?
Well, I'm wondering. So in your lecture, you said that when leptin is high in the obese person or whoever, your body isn't hungry. I get that. So what causes the fat storage? When the leptin's high, or when do you burn fat?
If it's too high. So there is an upside down U curve to this. There's a point of diminishing returns here. What they found with excessive amounts of leptin is that your fat cells multiply. It's almost, and it is confusing. In fact, that's why the science took so long initially, because they originally thought leptin's amazing. It burns all this fuel. It's the gatekeeper into the mitochondria. It's amazing. And then they found when you added more, that fat cells started multiplying. That it actually was not just diminishing fat, it was multiplying how much fat you have.
Right.
So there is a point of diminishing returns. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you have too much, you're more likely, in my opinion, to overfuel. You remember how the concept of calories in, calories out?
Yeah.
This is when it does matter. If you're releasing more fuel from your fat cells than is necessary, it's going to have to go through a recycling process. We're getting down to the microcell biology. Does that make sense?
So
we're talking the Krebs cycle, ATP, AMP
so that's
ratios.
What's causing all the waste from the ATP is causing the fat storage versus...
Correct. And the gene upregulation of fat cells. So the more leptin you get, it starts upregulating the fat proliferation. So you get new, bigger fat cells. So the goal is to be on the top. There's a point of diminishing returns.
So if an obese person, or even myself who's not obese, is never hungry,
you may have a stimulus not coming from food. You may have another organ, because, food isn't the only leptin stimulator.
Right.
There's a variety. This is where all the new science is coming to say, hey, we've got the, TSH from the anterior pituitary is one of the most powerful leptin stimulators, but it also is a negative feedback loop. So it's on this, again, another one of these curves. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's hard to pick it apart and pinpoint it. You may have an issue with your gonads or your ovaries. It may be coming from sunlight exposure. It may be coming from heat, cold, night, the moon. There's so many variances to this.
You think we'll figure this out?
I think you will figure it out. Don't put it on my shoulders.
No, but I'm saying with your help, do you think we'll figure it out?
I do. If you're open to it and willing to let go of your fear of fat gain, I think you'll be more willing to not control this outcome, which will allow you to be open to exploring truly how food affects you hormonally. Mm-hmm. Did I make sense when I said that?
Yeah.
Okay. I do. But it really takes layers of ego to just be put aside, because you got to be willing to get fat to do it. Doesn't mean you're going to get fat. But the fear of fat gain, some of this is going to take you in an area where you're like vulnerable, because we're not going to try to control anything. We're not going to be measuring your food. We're not going to be measuring grams of this and that. You're not to measure any of that. You're just to go into your body's rhythms. The other thing, Terry, is you're 45, perimenopausal. So your need for food is not predictable. It's going to become less predictable because your ovaries are starting to die. But then what happens when you don't have that LHT and FSH, that's follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone. When those hormones are starting to go down because you're just not producing as much from the ovaries, the negative feedback loop from the brain says, hey, there's not enough TSH, FSH, and we're going to start putting out more hormones. What do you think those hormones do?
They produce leptin also?
Yes. So
I
you
should
need,
never be
so
hungry.
have you noticed that? Remember, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm just not hungry. However, your gut chemistry, there is a need for food for gut chemistry too. So you've got
So if
you're a little out of coordination.
Right.
And
so
that's
if
okay.
you eat, if you're not hungry, but you need the food and you eat and there's left,
You need to understand your body better. Because you have a bias towards your body image disorder, you're more prone to manipulate and not listen to that stuff out of fear you're going to gain fat. Mm-hmm. So that's where I say there's so much bias involved. Mm-hmm. If you continue to have bias there, you're going to try to micromanage and it will never work because you're going to change things out of fear of gaining fat versus out of understanding, hey, my body needs to eat this right now. I'm getting that feeling. And being that you are a bodybuilder, what do you call it? I don't want to use bodybuilder. Yeah. Physique. You're in the physique industry as a trainer and someone who's trained people for competition in that area. You're in tune to your body more than most people. The minute details of your skin and your body you are so aware of to a fault. Yeah. To where you might be kind of losing that sense out of overthinking it. I see this too. Not very often, but I do see people overthinking.
Maybe, yeah.
And you just need to relax. Remember that stress response we talked about last time? That you might be freaking yourself out on top of that. So the cortisol is just screwing everything up too. Yeah. I don't know. Does that help at all?
Yeah. It's just, I've watched your video like 3 or 4 times and it just didn't make sense about the... I'm trying to compare it to me, but like you said, everybody's situation is different. I mean, the book is good and it's generally basic. But I'm thinking, how am I gaining fat when I'm not eating? I'm eating only when I'm hungry. Because I really am. When I'm not, I eat only when I'm hungry. Yeah. And I never get full, like to the point where because it just doesn't feel good. So I'm just trying to understand from I know there's more involved with insulin and cortisol. I know that, but I'm just trying from a leptin standpoint, trying to figure out if that's the primary issue, or I think it's maybe a combination of all of them. I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
But right now, your primary focus, your number one focus needs to be becoming an expert at your true hunger signals. Yeah. You need to be an expert. So you're looking at it under a microscope. You thought you knew it then. Now we've pulled it apart so you can see that the microscopic changes in your hunger right now. So that when this phase is over, you're not going to get that view anymore because now we're going to add in fats and all this other stuff. There's no HCG. There's no limit. There's no quantities. There's no portion controlling. And you better know this feeling to where you can do this again to find out if it truly does work. Trust me, I already know you weren't doing it right before. Even if you think you were, you're not. Okay. This protocol will help you understand that. The more you do it, the more you get in tune to it. We need to strategically understand not just when you're hungry, but the other side of it, which is when hunger goes away. That's the hardest part. And the other thing is how food influences those signals. If in any way you were restricting food on that before you started with fats, there's an issue here. So we need to be able to add fats back in. Like when we're done with this, when you're getting into the second phase or P3, I'm going to suggest 30 to 40% fat intake of your total food intake. That's a lot. So you got to be willing to take that risk. And we'll see if that changes things too. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Thanks for sharing. Mm-hmm.